I want to start by asking you, just for our viewers, those who don't understand what happens in such depths, Commodore Singh, for people, those who were so wealthy, those who had all the means at their disposal, because, you are spending $250,000 to be on board this submersible. This didn't seem to be a very sophisticated, or may I say it was a dangerous piece of equipment. It looked like it has been put together using improvised off-the-shelf devices. It was being controlled by a, gamer control. Do you think that the company underestimated the risks?
Well, I would be very surprised if the company underestimated the risk. I would think that somebody as experienced as people operating such vessels, such companies, would be fully aware of the implications of something going wrong. It was perhaps a bit of overconfidence, probably not aware of what the consequences could be, the implications of an emergency happening, and that is why there are lots of flaws in how this whole exercise unfolded. It was very tragic that 5 people lost their lives, but the saving grace was that, as you mentioned, they probably died instantaneously, because otherwise it could have been, had they sunk to the bottom and not been rescued for 3 days or 3.5 days, they would have had a far more painful death. So what obviously has happened is that the boat lost contact. It must have developed a leak in the hull, or there must have been an electrical power failure or something which took it straight to the bottom of the ocean. And on its way to the bottom of the ocean, perhaps at the time it lost contact, the hull must have cracked and imploded, and instantly everything and everybody would have got crushed. And obviously then she has gone and rested at the bottom of the sea. Now this brings to light what has happened. It's very unfortunate. And I think this kind of adventure tourism, don't forget, this is going into the bottom of the ocean. It's not climbing Mount Everest. If you were on land, it's a familiar environment. You know what to expect. There are ways and means of getting to you. The underwater, the depths below the oceans are totally unfamiliar. They are unfamiliar to people like us who spend half our lives there. But notwithstanding that, for somebody who's not trained in it at all, who's just going there for a lark, paid a huge amount of money. I mean, none of them were acknowledged explorers of the deep. They were more tourists who were going to examine and get a thrill of actually seeing the Titanic and getting probably bragging rights subsequently. So I think this whole program, this whole voyage was ill-conceived. OceanGate should never have undertaken this voyage.
Right.
This vessel was not designed for humans to be taken on board.
Okay.
It could not be opened from inside. It was bolted from the top. It had no emergency beacon. So it should never have had human beings on board.
Absolutely.